Coming up on Tekthing, don't be a Black Friday zombie, mini ITX build mayhem. I think I found the coolest case ever. 3 techie things you can do to give back to your community for the holidays, pocket tools, the ultimate knob, Dell security, and more. It's all coming up on Tekthing.
If you get something useful out of this episode of Tekthing, please consider contributing to the show at patreon.com/Tekthing. We're brought to you by viewers just like you. Thank you so much. I'm Shannon Morse.
And I'm Patrick Norton.
And this is Tekthing, where we make technology behave.
Actually, it's been a good couple days.
I was waiting for his, at least on the good days.
Well, yeah. Well, okay, so, except for security's a little crazy this week.
Oh, yeah. So is my health. Sorry for the sniffles.
Yeah, if you see me edging away from Shannon during there isn't some terrible backstory. I just don't want to take a cold home. Mm-hmm. Usually it's the guy with the little kids that brings the illness to work.
I've been sniffly for like a month, so I'm sorry.
Shannon has kennel cough.
It's really gross.
At least you're using tissues. You're washing your hands regularly, which is good, especially since we're operating the same teleprompter switch.
Hand sanitizer and Clorox.
Which is, it's a good thing for the winter. Change your Amazon password if you haven't, just in case. You probably aren't impacted, but apparently there was some sort of exposure, leak, something. If you were definitely...
It's like every single week, it's a new company.
Oh my goodness. In any case, you should have gotten an email directly from Amazon if they know you were exposed. And in that case, you know what? I was like, okay, I'm going to change my password. Mm-hmm. And I made sure I had two-factor authentication turned on. And the crew of The Verge have an excellent article on how to enable two-factor authentication on Amazon.com accounts. Krebs on security has their own. They're like everybody on the planet.
Yeah. Everyone was like, yes, I need all the people to come to my site to read how to do this.
Because Amazon.
It's pretty easy.
Everyone uses Amazon.
It's true.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm not making that joke. I can use the Google Authenticator because apparently that gives me an optimal Amazon Prime two-factor authentication.
That's what I use.
I know, but I can't get Amazon Prime on an Apple TV. Yeah, I went there. Okay, so last week we were talking about that awesome $799 Dell gaming laptop. And this week I got some tweets about Dell certificate drama.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
It's like they knew that we just refuted Dell.
Well, okay, so.
Like, haha, it's not secure.
A guy named Joe Nord bought a Dell Inspiron 5000 and he found a trusted root certificate pre-installed on the machine labeled eDell root. And it has him, basically the shortest possible version of this is the eDell root certificate was basically put in there to make it easier to get service tag information to Dell support people. However, because they used a common certificate, it is a problem for security and could lead to, hey, let's go to Krebs. The sort of TLDR version, a malicious hacker could exploit this flaw on open public networks, think Wi-Fi hotspots, coffee shops, airports, to impersonate any website to a Dell user and to quietly intercept and modify all of the vulnerable Dell system web traffic. So Dell is basically telling you they have instructions on how to remove certificates, and they'll push a software update that will check for the certificate, and if detected, remove it. So,
Nothing new there.
Well,
we saw something similar happen on Lenovo.
Right.
Now Dell. So I'm pretty much assuming that no laptops are safe.
Well,
I'm paranoid.
Right, but I notice you're still using a laptop.
I am. I'm using the Acer until, well, you know what? The same thing's probably going to happen to Acer, and I'll be like, well, I guess I'll hope that they give me a tool to remove it, because I really can't afford to buy a new one right now.
Well, it's at this point, just if you've bought a Dell machine since August of 2015, go remove the thing. We'll have a link in the show notes. As always, it's never a bad idea if you've bought a new PC to just wipe it and rebuild it clean.
And you
fresh.
can wipe the BIOS too.
New.
But be careful.
Well, I don't think there's no BIOS reinstall for the eDell. eDell root. It's hard to say. I don't know why eDell. Black Friday, Cyber Monday, which is like turned into Black Friday deals week. The 14 days of Black Friday I saw on a billboard this morning. The month of bargains, which is what they call it at Amazon. I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah, me too.
Too many sales happening this week.
Well, I prep, okay? I get prepared.
Oh, I know you do. This is our resident coupon enthusiast and bargain hunter of note, Shannon Snubs Morris, who has a few thoughts about Black Friday.
Yep.
Like, don't leave the house.
Don't leave the house.
Because there's
dangerous.
Turkey and stuffing and leftovers and
yeah, exactly.
Netflix.
Just sit on your sofa, watch Netflix, and shop from home. Because color me excited. There's so many ways to do it now.
Well, you're also usually traveling. Like you're always going back to your mom's or something. And
yeah, I'm always traveling to go home because military brat. I'm not from San Francisco Bay Area, so I always travel home to see mom and dad. So for Thanksgiving, I never have the time to go to the stores, nor do I really want to, because like the only thing available in my mom's neighborhood is Walmart. So I just like to stick around at home. It's so much easier.
And it's also crazy because online retailers are just unhinged, trying to beat each other out at this point. Especially if you're already a customer, you're probably have already gotten like your third round of like Black Friday emails.
Oh yeah.
Like some of the places I shop at occasionally are like all of a sudden it's like 30% off the regular inventory, which is cool. Is Amazon particularly unhinged this year, or are they pretty mellow?
They definitely are, and that's a really
mellow
awesome,
or unhinged?
They are unhinged.
Okay.
And that's awesome for bargain hunters. So Amazon is running deals throughout the entire week this year. So if you're looking for something specific, keep an eye on Amazon's Black Friday deals week. I'm finding things like 4K TVs are heavily discounted this year. Cameras, home theater equipment is a really big one around Black Friday. So those kind of things heavily discounted this week so far, among other random things like fitness bands and stuff like that. So you're going to find a lot of deals. Pro tip though, for Amazon, if there's an upcoming deal that you have your eye on, choose watch this deal. So if you find something that you like, oh look, this Roku Smart LED TV, I can click watch this deal. And then I download the Amazon app on my phone, and it will notify me when that deal is about to start. So a lot of times with these deals on Amazon, they sell out really quick because they only have like an allotted amount that they will sell. So it's nice because you'll get that notification. You can be one of the first to get that deal.
Where's the app come from?
Amazon.com/mobile apps.
Cool.
Just go to that on your phone, and then you can download the Amazon Dealio, the application. So some research before Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Do that just to make sure whatever items you want are actually a good deal. Make sure it's not like the crappiest of crap that they're just trying to get rid of in their warehouse or something like that, because it happens.
Well, so there's entire like websites that are built to getting the Black Friday flyers that come in a newspaper. Remember newspapers? You've probably seen a newspaper at your grandparents'
those, 'cause that's
house,
where you get the coupons from.
or outside your door at a hotel if you don't still get a newspaper. But there's entire websites that basically were built around getting, because those flyers, those inserts are printed weeks before. So people would get those and scan them and put them online. But it's crazy, like you still run into stuff where they literally have like 4. We have, or car ads are the worst. We have 2 available at this price. So that's one of the other nice things about being online is if they only have 8 to sell, at least you didn't wait in line for 12 hours to find that you can't buy one of the 8.
Yeah, so much easier when you're online. So there are some other sites that you may want to add to your list to do a bit of techie comparison shopping. A lot of times you're going to find the same price among several different sites, but you may get an additional deal. For example, Autorama has a deal on the camera that I want to get where it comes with free Lightroom. And Lightroom's like $150, so that's a good deal.
That's a good
but
deal.
No other websites are doing that same deal, so I'll probably go to Adorama and buy it from there, even though shipping might not be prime 2-day shipping like it is on Amazon. I'm okay with waiting a few extra days so I can get a free Lightroom package. But some other websites you might want to check out include bestbuy.com. They have a ton of deals, especially on things like Blu-ray movies and stuff like that. Tiger Direct is always big for computer parts and laptops. Same with Newegg. They have a ton of deals going on. And also Fry's. So Fry's I didn't know existed until I came to California, until I moved here.
Well, there used to only be, it's basically.
I had no clue it existed, but they do good deals.
They do. We'll just leave it at
Oftentimes
that.
they beat out Newegg, which is very surprising for me, but it happens quite a bit, especially if you can get to one of their stores in person. But they also have really good deals online.
Fry's saves all of their money by hiring they don't spend any money on customer service, so they can spend the least amount possible.
I know some awesome people that work at Fry's who are also fans of Hack 5. Hi.
Oh well, I'm talking smack because it's fun and because I've been shopping at Fry's for a long time. So Adorama, Adorama, B&H Photo, which a lot of people don't know about if they don't work. If you aren't a photographer or a photography geek or a videography geek, you may not know about B&H Photo.
They have really excellent deals, especially for camera geeks, but they sell a lot of other things as well. And then Autorama, as I mentioned before, they are already posting their deals for this year, so you can get through there. Look, they even have like Elements, which I just bought for twice that price. Dang it.
Should have waited for Black Friday.
For other gifts, like things for your kids, things for your wife or your husband, maybe they're not into tech, Target is doing this thing called 10 days of deals, including stuff on toys, Christmas decorations, home accessories, so plenty of things that you can buy from their website, and they do free shipping on a lot of stuff. And lastly, and I know it sounds a little bit girly, but stick with me here, crazycouponlady.com, and that's crazy with a K. They're listing deals for lots and lots of different stores. So if you click into their menu,
Frozen's Elsa Play
tons of deals. So even like Petco and stuff like that. So you can get a really great listing of all the deals there as well. So it's a good place to check for products that you might be interested in. The nice thing about all of these sites is that they're already sharing those deals early, so you can comparison shop before the sale starts to find the best deal, and you can use different kind of applications or plugins to get notified if a price drops and when that happens. Lifehacker has this excellent write-up that they did earlier this year by Alan Henry, our friend Alan.
Alan!
Thank you, Alan. So he lists a bunch of different cool websites that you can use, like Camel. Yeah, that's a good one. Slick Deals is one of my favorites. These are all different price trackers that will tell you whenever that price is about to drop. So definitely check those out, and depending on what sites you plan to shop, you might want to install one of those plugins during the time of Black Friday and Cyber Monday.
Oh my goodness.
I'm ready, man.
Oh my goodness.
I'm ready.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I started doing Christmas shopping this summer for the first time in my adult life.
That's smart.
So much less panic. Hey, Shannon said it before. We've said it before. I'll say it again. Know what you're shopping for.
Yes.
Not all TVs, PCs, laptops, or hey, I'll call out sheets, knives, home goods, Christmas decoration. Well, you laugh, right? But there's
not all those things are going to be amazing.
You think like that's a great price, but
yeah.
Our buddy Robert Heron over at Heron Fidelity has great home theater selections. CNET's team always. Oh, by the way, Robert's actually Robert Heron at Robert Heron he's tweeting out a bunch of his favorite TVs that are on sale. CNET's team always has great camera recommendations.
Oh, yeah.
The Wirecutter, as always, crushes it. They are doing amazing collections picks, basically.
Whoa.
Well, yeah, I mean the Wirecutter
awesome.
is always about
their carry-on luggage thing helped me out this summer.
There's so much good stuff, and well, if you haven't heard about, right, they've got TV picks, they've got headphone picks, a lot of good stuff on there, and they have the sweethome.com, which has recommendations on everything from like kitchen shears to sleeping bags, touchscreen gloves, vacuums. So if you're looking for the thing that does not suck. The Sweet Home, that is not the technology, the Sweet Home is doing, I don't know if they've finally done waffle irons or not yet. I asked for a waffle iron roundup a long time ago.
You're so random.
Yes, I am a non sequitur with
very,
feet.
Very important.
Waffle iron. Well, when you want a waffle iron, you want a waffle iron. Oh, the best waffle maker. What's awesome though about the Sweet Home and Wirecutter is they take some of amazing writers and reviewers and give them a lot of time and a lot of space to do research, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Speaking of experts in their field,
I know one.
Darren.
Thanks, Patrick. How'd you know we have an expert on this very week's episode of Hack 5, where Mike Osman of Ubertooth and HackRF fame is down to show us how to do some sub-1 gigahertz hacking reverse engineering protocols. It's really a lot of fun. Check it out, hak5.org.
We got a tweet from @jnooncaster who said, @Patrick Norton, something you said on Twitch makes me ask, is there a mini ITX build in your future? Trying to find the right small case. Well, funny you should mention that, isn't it, Patrick?
It is, because we actually just did a patron-only build.
Yeah, we did.
Where we took my giant, well, minus the 6 freaking Blu-ray and DVD drives, but this is a Core i7 6700, and it looks really tiny.
It's so cute.
Yeah, basically we stuffed my Skylake CPU into a mini ITX case. Asus sent out one of their mini ITX motherboards. If you've never worked with a mini ITX motherboard, it's pretty crazy because essentially it's ATX motherboard performance on a little 6.7 by 6.7 inch board. Cute. Yeah, I mean literally like.
Okay, they're not that small, but yeah.
Well, you can kind of see it in there.
Yeah.
It's It's small. It's tiny.
It's like the size of that window, pretty much.
Yeah, I'll talk more about that motherboard next week because it's interesting. To get things down there, you give up some things like a second GPU slot or a second by 16 PCI Express slot.
Yes.
But it's still, there's just a ton of features inside of it. We'll talk about that next week. The case I probably should have used was Corsair's Obsidian 250D Mini ITX case, which actually has room inside of it to pack a full 240 millimeter radiator.
Wow.
Yeah, the H100 iGTX that I've been using to cool the Core i7-6700K. And that's still, it's like maybe an inch bigger than this case. It's 13.8 by 10.9 by 11.4 inch case. It is a small case if you're used to, mid-size cases, mid-size towers.
And you ended up going with the thermal take.
The thermal take.
Correct.
Core V1, not Roman numeral 6.
Oh.
Derp. Yeah. Well, I went with it because A, it's cheap. It's like $49, and I like the fact that there is venting everywhere. One of the things that when our friends over at PC Per were playing around with R9 Nanos was they found a lot of the mini ITX cases are great if you're running no GPU, but if you have a GPU that's generating a bunch of heat, they are not so awesome. They ended up drilling a bunch of holes in one case. And I assure you, ladies and gentlemen, that not only is there a stylish, there's like a stylish vented front cover, but there is a big, slow-turning 200 millimeter fan up front, which is fairly quiet. It's got slots for a pair of 80 millimeter fans in the back, which will not be quiet by comparison. You can fit a 255 millimeter GPU, which is a pretty big GPU. They basically have a cutout that goes all the way to the back of the case and out to here. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, you literally, there's this, the GPU can hang out right there. We have a 2.5 inch SSD, a 3.5 inch desktop hard drive.
Cool.
You can fit a 140 millimeter CPU cooler. And no, a 240 millimeter radiator will not fit without modding the box. So I took that as an excuse to play around with a stock Intel CPU cooler, which is not as loud as I remember.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising.
I bring all that up because another mini ITX build and 40 millimeter CPU fans are in my future. It has a plan. I usually roll with cheap for the sake of cheap. But this case is probably going to be replaced in early January with what I think is the coolest case I've seen in forever. The S4 Mini chassis.
Tiny.
Yeah, this is crazy. 2.5 inches by 13 inches by like 8.5 inches.
Wow.
It can run a Core i. I mean, literally, that's the case in somebody's hand right there, and it's
so cool.
It's pretty awesome, right? Intel Core i. It'll handle Intel Core i7. You can buy a PCI Express ribbon cable right angle adapter, so it'll fit a Radeon R9 Nano or any other dual slot GPU under 8 inches like a GTX 950. It'll handle a pair of 2.5 inch SSDs.
Cool.
If you've never played around with the super tiny ones, part of the reason the really tiny ITX cases can be so tiny is they use DC to DC power. Essentially, a laptop power supply plugs into a board that looks like this. This is the HCPlex Hi-Fi 250 watt, or this one is an even smaller one, the Pico PSU 160 XT. So it'll handle like 250 watts in total if you go with the bigger adapter. The adapter basically fits inside the case. This one will handle 250 watts. This little tiny one will handle like 192 watts.
Wow.
I'm really curious to see how the Wii PSU performs. I'm thinking I probably should not try to stuff a CPU I want to overclock inside this case, but I'm going to try to because that's the way I roll. It'll be interesting. So we'll talk about the Mini ITX motherboard next week. If you're thinking about a new motherboard, whether you're thinking about a Maximus 8 or any other new motherboard, if you're kind of curious about what's going on with the crazy array of Z170 motherboards for Skylake, because literally it's not like Z90 where there were like a whole bunch of $350 motherboards.
Yeah.
There are motherboards for Skylake that are anywhere from like $140 up to like $350.
Wow.
And you can go with none of the features or all of the features, and then a lot of features you probably haven't heard a lot about. We talked about M.2 drives, but there's also like, email, ask@tekthing.com or tweet at us, and we'll talk about it next week. This week's Rapid Fire Roundup is not one, not two, but 3 things you can do as a techie to give back to your local community during the holidays. Because, ladies and gentlemen, Snubs is not just about spending money on the holidays. She's about giving back to the community.
That's right, I am.
Ready?
I'm ready.
Go!
Number 1. Consider donating your techie skills at a local homeless shelter or a senior home or a favorite local crafter, even if somebody local has a job crafting things from home. Create a free website for them or update their computer free of charge. You could even do something like spend a Saturday just backing up their data for them or help senior citizens learn how to email their family members so that they can share pictures back and forth with the younger generations. Find each other on Facebook even. A lot of senior citizens don't even know how to use Facebook, like my own grandparents. So it's very helpful for them because it gives them a way to, be all together even if they might not be able to travel during the holidays. So kind of an important thing.
It's a good thing.
Stay together
Share
with
the
technology. Number 2, if you are employed, you can offer to collect canned goods or toiletries for a local food bank or a homeless shelter from your coworkers. If you want to, you can also do a little bit of research to find out what local places actually take in charitable donations, probably a good thing to do, and share your plan with your coworkers. You can give them a few weeks to fill up a box or 2, and then you can bring it over to the shelter. Now, this will not only be something special that you can do, but it'll probably also bring a bit of good karma to you at work. So, props to the local IT guy for picking up all those canned goods and taking them to the local homeless shelter. Good on you, IT guy. Oh, and also pro tip, use couponing to maximize your haul without spending a fortune. That's one thing I do every year is just grab up as many toiletries that I can and give them to a lot of the local homeless guys. Like our friend Ricky.
Well, the other thing is, the big pro tip in there is ask first.
Yes.
Rather than collecting. There's nothing more embarrassing than collecting a bunch of stuff and having them be like, we can't use this.
Yeah, there's certain places that won't accept things over a certain size. They might just take sample sizes. There's certain places that won't accept food as donations. So definitely ask before you do that. Yeah. And number 3, it is very fun to give gifts for the holidays. We all really enjoy to do that, but it's also really fun to teach skills. So if there are kids in your family, or if you go to a local place of worship or a school or something similar that you're involved with, ask if you can offer a day of teaching something new to the next generation. I mean, those are the people that are going to eventually take over our jobs when we retire. And I would love to see them grow up and, know something new, be able to use those skills that you taught them when they were younger. I love seeing kids' eyes light up whenever they learn something new. It's just, it's such a special moment. And they might not fully appreciate it now. They might even get bored. You never know. But they will appreciate it in the future. So obviously, there are so many different things, all of these different ways that you can do some good. Anybody can, not just techie, geeky guys like us. Anytime in the year, and it doesn't just have to be the holidays. But I hope that these tips offered up something special that you can do personally. And of course, if you guys have any geeky skills that you would like to share about how to give back during the holidays, let us know in the comments, because I love hearing what you guys are doing for your local communities.
Patrons like you make Tekthing possible by contributing to the show at patreon.com/Tekthing. We're grateful because seriously, you make this show possible. And if you can't donate right now, that is okay. Keep watching, keep sending us questions, tips, and please share the show with your friends and family. Thank you so much for supporting the show, no matter how you do it.
We got a tweet from @RoadRageJason. I like your name. @Patrick Norton, what was that pocket tool you pulled out on Tekthing? Just curious.
Glad you asked. Oh my goodness. That would be my long-suffering Leatherman Skeletool. I've been carrying Leathermans on my belt for a long time. US made in Portland, Oregon with a monster warranty, as in I once called them up and told them I snapped off the blade trying to break into my own toolbox, and they pretty much said, that's nice, here's an RMA number, send it back to us. And look.
Cool.
Yeah, they stand behind their tools. Their tools are actually really hard to break. That was impressive, the warranty, the response, the customer service, but mostly I carry them because they really freaking work really, really hard. The Skeletool has all the basic tools I use constantly, a knife, pliers, Phillips and straight slot screwdrivers, and essentially I can carry 2 different sizes of straight slots and 2 different sizes of Phillips on the device itself. I can use other bits with it. It doesn't weigh much at all. This is a pretty
So
simple
cool.
one because I just wanted something that was super light and had all the basic tools. Oh, and it's got the little carabiner that's also a bottle opener because they're clever
So
like that.
this is what I'm going to get before the zombie apocalypse.
Yes, and a tomahawk.
Yep.
If you want something that you can carry on a plane, Darren really loves, it's the Leatherman style PS. And
Cute.
well, it's tiny, right? But it's pretty cool. It
There's
does
no
not have a knife, but you've got a really nice micro set of pliers that are just the thing for dealing with drone rotors. You've got a pair of scissors in there, nail file, toothpick, and so it's got a slightly smaller subset of functionality, but they won't make you throw it out if you are late for the plane and don't have checked luggage. So, look,
Cool.
one of these things is bigger than the other. Today I'm stating obvious things in public. Well, the other thing is, I laugh, right? Because a bunch of the Skeletools, like the Mutt, which is like their AR-15 tool, it's amazing, but it weighs like 8 pounds.
Oh.
I'm exaggerating. Please don't send me hate mail, Leatherman. Your tools are amazing. I love them. But you know what I mean? Like a lot of the, as you get more tactical, not that the Mutt is tactical, it's pretty functional, but there's a lot of ones out there. Like I saw one at Costco, which was like a Bowie knife and a pair of pliers and a flashlight. And it was like a cartoon, except it was actually supposed to be a tool. I don't know if you could actually sharpen the blade, but you know, it was like this big. And I was like, that's not a multi-tool. That's a workout
awesome.
program.
And we got an email from Julian who says, "Hi Tekthing, I have a pair of Sennheiser over-ear Momentums I use with each my iPhone 5, MacBook Air, or Denon 790 receiver. Would buying a portable DAC headphone amp make a large difference? Can you make a recommendation under 300 Canadian? Source is Spotify and lossless local audio, sometimes an Xbox One for movies or vinyl LP through the receiver. Thanks, love the show. Keep it up, Julian from Toronto, Canada."
Hey,
I love Toronto.
it's a fun
Bloor
city.
Street, what?
Oh my goodness. So
Sorry,
many inside Hack
jokes.
5 references. Okay, so DAC equals digital to analog converter. That's the thing that turns the zeros and ones that are your digital audio file back into music that your ears understand. Some DAC chips are better than others, and people smarter than me say, frankly, that the circuits around the DAC that feed it its signal and power might be even more important than the DAC chip itself.
Yeah.
Seriously. A headphone amp is used to drive headphones. Like with any amp, more power equals more potential volume as measured in decibels, but a combo of clean power and good transients is like adding all of the torque and massive brakes to your race car. Because basically, whether you're talking about traditional dynamic drivers, like the little speakers inside a pair of Momentums, or my beloved Grados, these are little speakers stuck next to your ears. Or if you're talking about headphones that are much more difficult to drive, planar magnetics, like the ones inside of these Fostex, or
wow.
these are the T50 RP Mark IIIs. This is the Hi-Fi Man 400s. These weigh like 2 pounds, I think, but they sound incredible. And the technology for planar magnetics is really crazy. You take a couple of arrays of neodymium magnets,
Oh, cool.
and you suspend an incredibly light membrane that has basically the ability to carry
That's awesome.
power. And it's like a wall of sound being blasted at your ears. The headphone amps often help out a lot with the low end. They help out powering less efficient headphones. A lot of folks use a headphone amp for the first time and go, "Damn, that bass sounds incredible." And a lot of folks go, "Huh, it sounds just like my iPhone." And a lot of that has to do with the source, where you're listening, how quiet it is. A lot of it has to do with how difficult your cans are to drive. Those Momentums or those great RSO60s I was holding, very easy to drive by your iPhone can drive them no problem. As I'm finally, these were also neatly packed, and now I'm creating a giant ballus of cables. These Fostexes, your headphone, your iPhone is going to be able to drive these. But they'll sound very soft. They will sound a lot better with an amp driving them. They'll sound a lot louder too. I'm not talking about eardrums meeting in the middle of your head loud, but loud like I'm listening to rock at decent rock volumes. So DACs and headphone amps can be separate or combined. I am a little more than in love with JDS Labs' The Element, which I've been listening to for a few weeks. 1 watt of extremely clean power. That is a ridiculous amount of power for a headphone amps. They will drive just about any headphones you can find. Do not flick the little gain or boost button on in the back. There's like a power button and a boost button. Do not put the boost button or the gain button on with headphones like your Momentums, because your earbuds probably will meet in the middle of your head. It has that much power. You know, I gotta actually give the utterly awesome volume knob on the Element props, because the guys that built it kind of apparently went insane going through iterations finding the perfect volume knob.
Oh, yeah.
But I really wanted to give it more than a quarter turn, because at this point, you're pretty much going to blow your ears out with a really nice set of headphones. Like an easy to drive set of headphones are really loud right about here. I wanted to actually turn it up more, which led me to experimenting with the planar magnetics, like the HE400s and those Fostexes, which led me to realize how gorgeous the onboard DAC sounds. Man, it's pretty cool. The one I have here will take a USB input from your computer or an analog input over the RCA jacks, so you could use it with your laptop or a CD player, or if you have a phono preamp, you could run your record player into the RCA inputs to use the built-in headphone amp. For 20 bucks more, you have the ability to use these RCA jacks as a preamp for a stereo amp, so you can alternate between the two. Might be nice if you have a media center. It's made in the US by a couple of really nice guys that like great audio, have design and CNC skills, and really obsess over volume knobs. It's also $329 US, which probably would be a deal breaker and cause you to go, no! Okay, Julian. We have suggestions. Well, it's kind of funny, right? So this is the JDS Labs website. That's the Elements. It's really pretty. They've also got some really good blog entries talking about if you want to get really nerdly and get your math on.
Did you say nerdly?
Nerdly. No, literally, like, this is pretty nerdly stuff, and I certainly love getting into the weeds. But they're pretty frank, and they're doing a lot of work to try to educate people on why you might actually want one of their products. If you want something much more less expensive and entry level, the CMOI or Chumoy pocket amplifier, they're a great place to start. You can build one. It's a good DIY for a soldering project, or you can pick one up built from JDS Labs and other places for about 60 bucks. That will do a phenomenal thing to really give you a headphone amplifier experience for not much money, and you can go from your phone into the little Chumoy amp and then out to your headphones. Another great option is the Objective 2 headphone amplifier. Literally an open source design by the mythical Northwest AV guy, who kind of corralled all of these people and set these really high standards for performance, and then figured out a way to meet those standards for very little money. You can build one, you can buy one from JDS Labs. I am a huge fan of AudioQuest Dragonfly.
Oh yeah.
This is the 1.2 USB DAC. It is built like a tank. A little tiny USB tank, crisp, detailed audio, a fairly powerful onboard amp for your headphones, and an excellent built-in analog volume control, which I won't get into, but it's really cool. And it wasn't until I heard the Element and then started playing around with planar magnetics that I thought I might want more from a DAC attached to my PC than what the AudioQuest Dragonfly could deliver. It is cheap. It's like 150 bucks, sometimes as little as 120 bucks. I can believe you can actually get this to work with your iPhone or an iPad, with an iPad mini camera connection kit, though you might also want to add a powered hub lest it start draining battery. High Resolution Technologies does some really cool stuff. We reviewed them a long time ago.
Yeah.
This started as a Kickstarter project. The DSP is for Android devices. It is a great place to start if you have an Android phone. It'll work with just about any PC operating system out there. And the iDSP, which is their version that works with Apple products with a Lightning connector, really good stuff. Two more brands to keep an ear out for that you may not have heard of. FiiO, F-I-I-O. I haven't had a chance to listen to a lot of their products yet, either of these two companies. FiiO specializes in super affordable amps, DACs, and portable audio players made in China. They have a fantastic rep, especially for their less expensive media players and their portable amps. People love these, and they have a ton of products. They're all available on Amazon.com. And Shit Audio, which not only has a sense of humor and the weird-ass habit of naming its amps and DACs after characters from Norse mythology and places. I'm pretty sure Bifrost is the burning rainbow bridge to Asgard. That counts as a place, right? But they make their gear in the United States, and they build the snot out of it. They have a really envious, they have just a fantastic rep for build quality, and they start with like combined amp DACs, similar to the AudioQuest Dragonfly, but bigger at $79. And if you want to get really unhinged, you can get your Ragnarok on for like $1,700. And if you know about Ragnarok, you know that's a pretty interesting thing to name any product after.
Oh, yeah.
But the Fulla shit might be a good starting point. Right.
Is that really how you pronounce it?
Well.
Or is it sheet? Like the gas station.
Hold on. Yes, that is our name. Shita. It's a proud German name, host to a long line of audio engineers who slaved away in a crumbling Teutonic fortresses as the lightning lasted dark lands outside, working to perfect the best amplification devices in the world. Did I mention they have a sense of humor? Or, well, no. Yes, shit is our name, and it's pronounced, well, like, hey, man, that's some really good shit. And now we have your attention. Yeah, I mean...
I'm so glad that they actually mentioned that on their website, because I feel bad for, like, every PR person out there right now.
I don't.
Attempting to, like, talk about it.
They did this really intentionally, but they do a whole bunch of interesting stuff. We actually, take it back, one of the first, the only shit product I've had a chance to listen to is the SIS, which is the simplest preamplifier ever, which probably makes it one of the best preamplifiers ever, and it's $49.
Cool.
And it is exactly what it needs to be for what it does, which is so rare and so awesome. So,
all right.
I don't know if they're going to be at CES,
I
but
hope
we'll
that
find
helped
out.
you out, Julian.
So many options.
Quite a few options.
My addiction will
That is
hopefully
your
feed
addiction.
your simple needs in audio.
And lastly, but awesomely, David writes in, Patrick and Shannon, I have been seeing some good deals lately on field cameras like the Lytro Ilum. I do not know much about them, although I understand the concept of their operation. Is there a reason I wouldn't want to snap up one of these cameras? I appreciate your input, from David. Yeah, the light field cameras. I got to mess with one of these at a Hack5 open house. One of our fans brought one in, and it's really cool, the film camera.
So they're very distinctively designed.
Very.
They're very like, whoa, look at that crazy thing.
Yeah, so the light field photography, it's really, really cool engineering that delivers the ability to create living pictures where you can pick your depth of field, your focus shift, just kind of drag around and explore in your pictures. So it's supposed to, like, quote, bring them to life in a way. Camera reviewers generally felt that they made for very meh photos. And from my very limited experience, I do have to agree with that. More of a party trick than a practical camera for everyday use. And
A very cool party trick.
It's really cool. Yeah, it's really, really cool. But
for at least several minutes.
yeah. So exactly. If you're looking at 4 megapixels, if you output them to JPEG, there's been a lot of complaints about lack of clarity and fuzziness, so that can be an issue for you.
Yeah, I mean it's an incredible sensor and it's a really fascinating technology. But the actual thing you get out of the camera would probably explain why Ilums have dropped from $1,200 when they launched down to $500 or so online.
It's also kind of hard to share them too. Like if you want to give somebody the full experience, you can't upload it to Facebook.
Yeah, and also
you have to link them.
Yeah.
So.
And Lytro is also kind of moving on, working on the world's first professional light field solution for cinematic VR, providing lifelike presence for live action VR through 6 degrees of freedom, which
very cool.
Could be utterly fascinating and certainly looks utterly fascinating in that rendering. I think it's a rendering. Could be a photo. Could be a rendering.
With our technology for sharing and with the technology that's currently in those cameras, I'd recommend not buying one of those. Yeah. And going a different route for your photography.
Yeah.
Stick with mirrorless or DSLR or even point and shoots at the moment. Just
so
depends
many
on what
good
you're
cameras
into.
right now.
Yeah.
And they stocked up them at Costco. It's like they've been dwindling. The piles of camera and the offerings have been dwindling, and then all of a sudden, like, they exploded. Just for the holiday shopping season. Oh
man, holidays are coming up. Both of us are going to be off for a couple of days for Thanksgiving. So remember, once in a while, especially nowadays, joining with your family and friends, put down the phone, step away from the screen, close that laptop, and do something analog, like spending Thanksgiving or whatever holiday that you do celebrate with your family and or your friends, if you're in the U.S. or overseas. And put down the phone, enjoy some turkey. Phone. Yeah, turn off the phone.
See if you can get through an entire thing. Actually, well, then there's family calling, so maybe you don't want to turn it off.
That's true.
Maybe you could turn it off for part of Thanksgiving.
Yeah, turn it off for the dinner.
Hey, we want to make sure we thank all of you.
Yes.
Because we have a lot to give thanks for.
We do.
Thanks to all of you supporting the show.
Thank you so much.
I'm Patrick Norton.
I'm Shannon Morse.
We'll see you next week on Tekthing.
at the very end when I was like, oh, that was my stomach, you can hear it through the microphone. You can hear my stomach through the microphone. So if you're a patron and you haven't watched the build video for November yet, like skip to the end.
And if you're not a patron,
you can hear my freaking
you might want to
stomach.
become a patron just so you can hear the sounds of Shannon's stomach.
Because
It sounds like a bad jazz album from the 70s.
I
the
was
varied
going
sounds
through
of
it and I was
Shannon's
like,
stomach.
what is this? And then it goes, "Brrr," and I go, oh, that's my stomach. Through the microphone.
It was pretty loud.
It was really loud.
I didn't stare because I'm a professional.
Apparently,
but if
I
I
was
wasn't
very
so
hungry.
professional, I'd be like, do you need a doctor? Are you okay?
I probably did need a doctor for that. That was super weird and awkward. It was so strange.
And then there was the sniffling. So much sniffling.
Oh, constant sniffles. My apologies for the sniffles.
Oh my goodness. The cables came off. All of my cables have exploded. It's okay.
I touched it
Great.
with my grimy
Your
hands.
filthy, diseased hands have touched my headphones.
I'll Clorox wipe them. It'll be good.
Don't touch my magic headphones. No, 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 no. I will lick your keyboard at an unannounced time.
No, that's my job.
That's
to
all.
lick
That's
my
a Robert
keyboard.
Heron thing to do, lick a keyboard without telling anybody.
He would.